Alright, Rockers, I promised you that this week we'll get back into talking to some of the bands around the world, and joining me right now is a member of what could be called the next supergroup. The band is called Audiotopsy. Their album Natural Causes comes out in October, and joining me right now by phone, their singer, Billy Keeton. Billy, how are you, man?
Doing fine, man. Glad to be here, Turbo. Very cool.
Glad to have you, man. Good to have you here inside the asylum with me. And some of you guys might remember Billy from a band called Scrape. And now Billy is singing with the new band Audiotopsy. Billy, what in between Scrape and now doing Audiotopsy? Before we get into that, what have you been up to in between?
Man, all music, man. Pretty much. I've been raising a kid too. I'm a dad, but I recently have been more recently in the last year been in the studio working on my own record, and that's kind of how all of this started with myself and Greg. Basically, I was in the studio recording and working on my own material, and I kind of randomly just got a call from Greg. So, but as far as what I've been up to over the last, say, decade, I've been in and out of a lot of different bands, and just, playing music as much as I can, but more than anything, I've been building my catalog of songs, and just working as a songwriter and, spending as much time as I can, in my own studio and, just being a musician.
Yeah, man. I know. For so many people, when they find that niche, and in your case, it's music. It's all when you just gotta keep going and doing it. It's when you know you're good at it, you just keep doing it.
That's right. That's exactly right, Turbo.
So now here we are in 2015, and you're working on your own solo album and working on your own catalog stuff, and you said basically Greg called you up and said, listen, let's get together for a project. How did Audiotopsy come to be exactly?
Well, that's a good question. I was, like I said, I was in the studio, and the studio I was working in is the actual studio that we ended up recording Natural Causes in. I was busy working on some of my own material, and I just randomly got a phone call from Greg asking me if I'd be interested in singing for this band that he and Matt were trying to put together. And it took me a minute or two to get to. I had to kind of put it all into perspective. I didn't actually, say yes right there on the spot. I needed a day or two to breathe on it, but within maybe 24 hours, I called Greg back and said, "Man, I'm really interested in doing this with you." And so fast forward a little bit, and Greg asks me if I would send him some of my material that I've been working on. And so I sent him, 2 or 3 songs. And so Greg comes back to me and says, "Hey, man, this is really good. This is killer, man. Who is this bass player? And is that him singing with you?" And so on and so forth. And, of course I said yes. And it's Perry, and we've been together for a while. And he asked me if Perry would be interested in actually playing in the project. And so I told him yes. I would ask Perry, and Perry immediately said, "Man, I'm into this." So we kind of got together that way. He called me, and I played some music for him, and he inquired about my bass player that was working with me at the time, who is Perry, and currently the bass player in Audiotopsy. And that's kind of how we got together, Turbo.
I like the way that this has come together. It's kind of one of those. You were working on your thing, and then Greg calls you and goes, I got my thing, and then the two pieces come together to form, this brand new band, Audiotopsy, with Natural Causes coming out in October. And I got to ask you, because I know you said that you were a little hesitant at first that you didn't say yes right away. Was that hesitation because of how far you were in to the solo stuff that you were doing, or was it maybe a little bit of concern for the way the industry is right now? What was that initial hesitation?
Man, it was a combination of things. Uh, think about that for a minute. You get an offer like that from somebody, and it's you've got your life's going in one direction, and I've played this game before, man. I know what it means. I knew where this was going to take me, And one of the things it was going to do is it was definitely going to be. I was going to have to postpone my own working on my own record, obviously, and then all of the uncertainties involved. It was a handful of things that made me hesitate for a second, but boy, man, I mean, maybe within 24 hours, I had returned fire back, saying, look, I want to do this. It didn't take me but a second to really make the decision, and my wife was very supportive and said, man, honey, you just need to do this. And so that was it.
That's cool, man. I mean, it's always good when your family also gets behind you and says, you know what, this sounds right, go for it. That's sometimes the extra push that you need is from those family and friends.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you guys when you finally said, yeah, count me in, and Perry said count him in, how much of the album Natural Causes needed to be written, or how much of it was written from either stuff you had or stuff Greg had, or was it all just kind of, all right, we're going to sit down with a new band, let's do this from the beginning together?
Well, it happened like this. From the moment that I basically said that Greg heard some of my solo material, and I had, we had decided, hey man, let's do this. We all kind of jumped in the bucket together. They sent me, Greg sent me 7 songs. He and Matt had previously gotten together for a long weekend, I think, and they wrote and recorded and demoed 7 songs. And those 7 songs are actually on Natural Causes. What happened was he sent me all of the songs, and I have a home studio. I have a Pro Tools environment that I pretty much, am pretty savvy in, and I put some sessions together with those songs and basically started demoing them and sending them back. And those 7 songs, as I pretty much, my initial work on those 7 songs ended up making the final cut. I don't think we actually did much rewriting at all, if any. The stuff that I wrote is kind of what you hear on the record, In fact, it is, man. I'd say 98% of it, we did minimal changes. But so I got those 7 songs, right? And I finished those up. And then maybe about a month or maybe 2 months later, we all got back together again in the same studio here in Orlando, and we tracked another 3 songs and made the whole record a full 10. And that's how it happened. That's how all the songs came down. All the music was kind of presented to me, basically, as a blank sheet of paper, like here, Billy, here's the music, do your thing, and that's exactly what I did.
That's really cool that it was able to be done, so simply, because, so many times, nowadays, I mean, like you said, you've got Pro Tools in your house, and that has definitely helped many bands now that everyone can afford to do it in the comfort of their own home at their own time. But sometimes that also has gotten in the way. I've heard many a band that has, every guy's got a version of Pro Tools, and every guy goes through it 3 or 4 times before it gets put out. And it's kind of reassuring to hear that you guys, got it you put your take on it, and that's almost essentially where the album went right from there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's
We didn't really do much production on the vocals at all, man. As soon as I started presenting my ideas, the guys in the band were like, "Holy shit! Okay, that's good. Yep, that's a done. That song's done, and that song, the next song's done." And it just kind of flowed like that. And then when we got in the studio and actually tracked them, we changed a word or two here, or a small little tweak on a melody here, and that's it, man. Pretty much. It's pretty much what you hear on the record is exactly what I wrote, pretty much.
right. I mean, I've had the album for about a week now, and I've listened to it a few times, and I've listened to it, and it may sound weird, but for some reason I listened to it, and it almost takes me back to the late '90s, early 2000s, where metal was kind of on that edge of just taking that next heavier turn to where we're kind of on now. Was that what you guys were thinking when you went and did this, to go say, you know what, let's take things back a bit, not worry about what's going on now, but what we're comfortable with in a sound?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We had a complete no rules approach to what we were doing. We had maybe one small meeting where we were like, guys, let's try our best not to sound like our old bands. And we don't need to do that. We had that conversation, but it only happened once, man. We had a vision for this thing from the jump, and once I started putting the vocals over this music, man, we realized immediately that we had our own little thing going, and we just kind of built on that, man. We didn't really put any kind of boundaries on it. We didn't specifically say, hey, man, let's make sure that we stay in this particular track here, or this particular kind of thing, related to our influences or any of that, man. It was really a no rules approach, basically, where we just let it kind of come out. And it's funny that you compare it to some early stuff like that, because for the life of us, we really don't know what we sound like. But that's a good analogy, man. I like that too.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, the first time, the first track that hits up is Headshot on the album, and it's a single that you guys have got out there right now. 4 Natural Causes coming out on October 2nd. And as soon as I turned it on, I'm like, I had that moment where I felt like I'm back in college again, where metal was kind of at a crossroads and rediscovering itself, and almost, as you said, I almost expected to turn it on and go, all right, well, there's Mudvayne. And, 3 songs later go, well, there's Hell Yeah. And then another song later and go, well, there's Scrape. And listening to the album in its entirety, there really isn't a spot where I could say you hear the old bands. I mean, it's definitely, if someone is a fan of those bands, Audiotopsy is something that you guys should be checking out. But nowhere on there, on the album, can I say, well, there's one of your bands of one of the guys in the group.
Cool.
And I think, was that like you said, you kind of just fell through as you guys were playing, that you guys developed your own sound. But in any time, did you guys actually have a moment where you go, okay, wait a minute, that sounds too much like, one of the bands? Did you guys have that?
Not at all. That didn't happen once, man. We really made a point to try and be a new band. We had never played a note together, Turbo, not even one note together. I just started getting music from them and putting vocals on it, and this Audiotopsy sound was born that way. I mean, we had never, most bands play together a little bit before they go in and write a record or produce a record, or try to even be a band. We didn't play one note together. We put this thing together without even really knowing each other.
So you guys didn't
and I think
even sit down and have a jam session?
No, we didn't. The only thing that we had some common ground on is that Scrape toured with Mudvayne back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And that's how Greg knew me and Matt knew me.
I gotcha. So other than that, you guys basically never really knew anything about each other regarding what you were capable of together as a unit until you started putting this together.
Absolutely correct. Yes, that is correct.
Well, I mean,
and something I wanted to...
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. I mean...
No,
I was going to say something. I wanted to correct you on, man, that I don't think you got the memo on, but our record release has been pushed to October the 5th. It's not coming out. Yeah, we have our single, the song "The Calling" is our single. Headshot was just a teaser track, and "The Calling" is actually our first single, and its radio impact date is September the 15th. And we have a soft impact this Friday. We have I think it's Kilo Radio out of Colorado Springs, and then we have WJJO out of Madison, Wisconsin, and then we have Sirius Octane, and all three of those entities are going to be spinning "The Calling" starting on Friday. Pretty much, I believe that we're going to be in heavy rotation on all three of those stations. But our actual radio single impact date is September the 15th for "The Calling," and then our actual release date is now October the 5th. We had the label and our management and everybody involved felt like we needed just a little more time to set everything up. So
yeah.
I wanted to make sure you knew. I wanted to make sure that you knew that.
No, I appreciate that, as well as my listeners hearing this as well are going to appreciate that as well, because I know, as I said, I've only been living with this, with natural causes, for about a week or so now. And any digging up I've done online, I've seen Headshot everywhere online. I haven't received anything yet about "The Calling," which is a great song on the album. And matter of fact, when we're done, we're going to pick out something from the album and we'll play it. So we may actually, we're going to end up actually beating some of those stations that you mentioned on playing something from the album. But before we get to that, I did want to ask, obviously, now knowing the date for the album is October 5th, that leads me, of course, to the next question that I'm sure everyone's wondering about, and that is, what's the plans for touring? Is there going to be any kind of live shows coming up, either before, after, or after the release? What's the plan for Audiotopsy as we near Natural Causes being released?
Well, we have several things touring related that are on the desk right now, but we are not officially locked into anything yet, and I'm not at liberty to say what these tours are potentially for us. I just don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but I will tell you this: Audiotopsy is definitely going to be out on the road in support of the record and our single, most likely during the middle of September, not that far away.
Very cool, man. That's something I had to ask, because there have been bands recently that have gotten together. They put out amazing albums, but then you never got to see them live. And
Yes.
It's kind of been this ongoing thing. And you always hear, well, it's going to happen, and then it never does. That's why I had to ask where you guys were at, because I know there are going to be people that are fans of Scrape, Mudvayne, that are going to hear this and go, I've been waiting for this. And I know they're going to want to see you guys live. That's why I had to ask what the plan was going forward.
Well, it's coming, man. We are definitely going to be touring. It's just I'm not at liberty to say anything about that just yet because our record's not out. Our single's just getting ready to hit. It's just too soon, but we got some shit in the works. Definitely, Turbo. It's coming.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Everyone's got something to look forward to. Natural Causes from Audiotopsy comes out October 5th, and it's available for pre-order on iTunes. Now, Billy, before I let you go, I said we would play something from the album. Usually, I like to have my guest pick something out. I don't know if you want to go with Headshot or with the Calling, or maybe something deeper that maybe means something more to you. Which track should I go into for our listeners from Natural Causes?
I would play Dark in the Rainbow.
Dark in the Rainbow. One of the deeper tracks, actually, one of the tracks that caught my attention on the first listen. Any behind the scenes or backstory behind it you'd like to share?
Well, just that we've gotten together a few times and we've had some really, really awesome, fun times together. I can tell you that, our band is just getting started and getting legs underneath it, but we feel like, man, we've known each other forever. The chemistry that our band has is, it's natural. That's why we named the record Natural Causes. We couldn't figure it out. It's like, how did we come about this? How did we do this? And we just basically it was a natural thing, and I just want to say that the guys in the band are awesome. Everybody's just, itching to get out and go and tear it up on the road and see everybody, and see those fists in the air, the whole 9 yards, man. Looking forward to it.
Awesome, man. Well, everyone is definitely going to be looking forward to seeing you guys out on the road. And here it is, right now, before even any other singles, a deeper cut from Audiotopsy's debut album, Natural Causes. This is Dark in the Rainbow. Stay tuned, more to come.
Yeah.